Hey! Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing the new Teen Titans, Terra, Incognito, and the Judas Contract. Now the reason why I'm doing these two together is because I consider them one big story arc, so it's only logical to do them in one big review. That and they're both a very important part to the Teen Titan history. So, with that said, let's start things off with Terra Incognito. Now, Terra Incognito is a story that has two big plot points to it. The first one is the introduction of a girl named Terra. Now, Terra has the ability to manipulate the ground and the earth and control gravity to some point. The Teen Titans find her and take her under their wing. Now, she becomes the first new member to the Teen Titans since they reformed. However, she's a very shady character and we don't know much about her. She does give a little bit of her history to the Titans, but we never know her true motives, and she doesn't play well with the other Titan members, with the exception of Chamberlain. However, that's somewhat of a facade. Now, if you don't know anything about the Teen Titans, if you never read any of the comics, or if you haven't seen the TV show, I don't want to give away anything about Terra, what her true purpose and meaning in the comic is. However, about 3/4 of the way through the book, we find out Terra's true affiliation, her true purpose, and what her real mission is. The second big plot point to this is Robin. Now, Robin's going through somewhat of a crisis, and he's really getting very bitter towards his teammates and snapping at all of them, particularly Starfire. Now, we don't really know what's going on with Robin, but it's later revealed that Robin's going through a crisis about who he really is. Is he going to stay in the shadow of Batman forever, or is he going to step out of it and become his own man? Now, Robin realizes how badly his life is going when he's actually used and manipulated by the individual known as Vigilante. Now, Vigilante was a former detective whose family died in a big bomb accident. Well, it's not really an accident, but a big bombing from a group of criminals. Beforehand, as a detective, he was using Robin in shady ways to apprehend these criminals, because Robin is a certified detective, a junior detective of some sort. He's deputized so he can actually make arrests. So that's a big point in this story too. Now, moving on to Judas Contract. Judas Contract picks up exactly where Terra Incognito leaves off. And a lot of things happen in this. First of all, is we get a little bit of backstory about Deathstroke the Terminator, Slade. We find out what he was like before he became Deathstroke, and what caused him to be Deathstroke. We learned this from his wife, his ex-wife, and his son, Jericho. Now, we find out a lot about his history and what causes him to be Deathstroke the Terminator. While it does not make him a sympathetic character, it does make the reader understand why he's Deathstroke, and it's quite interesting to read, and it's probably one of the better points of this graphic novel, or one of the many good points of this graphic novel. Second thing is we get the climax with the Hive. Now, if you read any of the earlier Titan books, we find out that, while we know that Deathstroke made a contract with the Hive to take down the Titans, here the contract is finally fulfilled. So there's a big climax between the Titans, Deathstroke, and Terra, all at the Hive headquarters. Lastly, we get the transition of Robin, Dick Grayson, becoming Nightwing. He finally finds out who he really is and what he really needs to be, and he adopts the persona of Nightwing. That and Jericho joins the Teen Titans as a member. Now, there's a big climactic battle between the Hive, Terra, Deathstroke, the Titans, Jericho, and Nightwing, which is very satisfying. But I'm going to leave it there. Now, when it comes to Terra Incognito and the Judas Contract, well, first of all, written by Marv Wolfman and art by George Perez, you automatically guarantee good stories. Let's deal with Terra Incognito first. Now, Terra Incognito, I have to say, out of the two stories, I felt it is the weakest. It does a very good job setting up Judas Contract. However, I feel as though the big mystery with Terra was revealed too early, and that it should have actually been revealed during Judas Contract. Now, this wouldn't have bothered me so much if it was one big graphic novel. However, it's two graphic novels, so I felt as though it was revealed a little too early. Besides that, I thought it was a solid story, not quite as good as everyone thinks it is, but I still enjoyed it a lot. However, Judas Contract I think is a much better and far superior story. In this story, we got a lot more action, a lot more plot gets pushed, a lot more change, and really the big climax was worth it. We got some great things like the history of Deathstroke, along with the changing of Robin to Nightwing. Judas Contract is a far superior story, but both of them are great stories. I would give Terra Incognito a solid B. With Judas Contract, I would give an A. I mean, it's Marv Wolfman and George Perez, dynamic Titan team, who I love to death, so you can't go wrong with these stories. I recommend picking them up. However, I wouldn't pick either one of them up alone. I would pick them up together. Now, they are pretty priced for $19, so it's a total of $40 for these two books. But it's definitely worth it, definitely recommended, and I suggest picking them up. Like I said, Terra Incognito is good. Not quite as good as everyone plays it off to be, but it's still pretty fun. And then Judas Contract, which I think is one of the best Titan stories out there. So with that said, I recommend picking up both these stories, and they're a good introduction to the new Teen Titans if you can't get your hands on the archive. So with that said, this is Andrew saying, peace out for now.